me tell you about a friend. It's Craig LeBlanc where the good times never end. Talking Parks and Rec, it's a show you gotta know. Welcome one and all to the Daily Parks and Rec Show. It's the Daily Parks and Rec Show.
So this is going to revolutionize this. This is as big as the tractor coming into the farming industry when they had, mules and plows and stuff. How about this? Let's take the Parks and Rec industry out of we're the slowest to adopt things to no, we're on the cutting edge of adoption. Let's lead the charge in this industry. Why? Because we have more grass to cut than probably every other industry in America. I wonder if there's anyone in America that cuts more grass than Parks and Rec. If there ever was something that Parks and Rec needs to be the leader, the early adopter, the front runner on technology, it's probably the robotic lawnmower because we're always looking to save time and money and resources so that we can do all the other backlog of stuff that the cities put on us. Welcome to the Daily Parks and Rec Show, where we highlight the essential work that keeps our parks and facilities thriving. From local ball fields to multi-use athletic complexes, field maintenance ensures every space is safe, ready, and welcoming for play and community events. Facility maintenance is the backbone of operational excellence, ensuring that recreation centers, playgrounds, and shared spaces are functional, clean, and built to last. Behind the scenes, equipment maintenance keeps vital tools and machinery in peak condition. At the core of future-forward thinking is sustainability management, integrating green practices that reduce environmental impact and enhance long-term resource stewardship. Facilities maintenance is more than routine upkeep. It's strategic, essential, and foundational to building healthy and resilient communities. This is the Daily Parks and Rec Show, honoring the professionals who keep our spaces running and our communities strong. All right, this is Craig LeBlanc with the Daily Parks and Rec Show. This is the Facilities Maintenance Show. Let's see. I'm just now writing out my script here, but the Facilities Maintenance Show with Craig LeBlanc, the doorman, 10:30 Eastern, Monday through Thursday. So we have moved our time. It is now from 10:45 to 10:30 Eastern to give us a little bit of cushion between this and the Leadership Series show that starts at 12 noon Eastern. We were having some trouble kind of cramming them both together. Sometimes we would overspill. So this is the Facilities Maintenance Show. This is part of the Daily Parks and Rec Show family. This one's focused on facilities maintenance, the master craftsmen that, dedicate their lives to maintaining these facilities and, the mastery that they've attained in doing so. We're going to talk about the vendors that they use, the technology that's coming into this industry, whether it's through robotics or AI. There's a lot of stuff happening that's going to drive a ton of efficiencies in maintaining facilities. But then also these craftsmen have been honing their skills for decades. I guess you're never a former master electrician, but as a master electrician, I know that in service work, I maintained my as I maintained my master's license, I was still learning every day. And so similar to that, if you're an arborist maintaining an urban forest in your community, you're always learning. If you're constantly battling weeds inside of these sports fields and these green fields and green spaces, you're constantly battling Mother Nature. And as we learned from Joseph, as I learned from Joseph, there is so much more that goes into maintaining a community center. Something I learned yesterday and never thought about. I know Parks and Rec people in maintenance may be like, well, duh, this is what we do every morning. But, in urban environments where you have these playgrounds, there can be some adult activity that happens at night that might not be good for kids to be around, whether there's, items left over from the night's activities, maybe some beer bottles or who knows what's out there. Playgrounds are often used for adult activity late in the night. And we've got children showing up just in a few hours to play on this playground, maybe right before school. And so the maintenance professionals that work on maintaining community centers and playgrounds need to show up for these kids. And they're finding stuff many times, 1 or 2 days a week that thank God they showed up because they didn't want a kid to go play on a playground with a broken beer bottle, them cut their foot. Who knows what else they're finding. And I can say this, as many times as I've been on playgrounds, I've never found anything, whether it be drugs or anything else you might find on a playground. And so, do I just think those magically clean themselves up? I don't think so. That's your Parks and Rec maintenance professionals making sure that your playground is cleaned from the previous night's activities, ready to go for that morning's activities with children, toddlers, little kids, playing on them. And never thought, why? Because I've never done that. My exposure to parks and recreation maintenance was all electrical. And so I got to see that side of the equation. Now, of course, this is, gosh, more than a decade ago, that I was ever, probably 2 decades ago when I was wearing a tool pouch, but I never got to see all the maintenance stuff. And so Joseph, thank you so much for helping pull back the curtain as to what maintenance professionals do. He manages 34 staff members, in city of Dallas, which is one of the largest park and rec departments in probably the world, but definitely in America. And I'm really just he's helping me understand the actual work that goes into maintaining these facilities. And so as I'm building out this show, I've got him and Garrett and Ryan that I'm going to have as regulars in these first few shows, to just help me get everything set up. This morning, I spent 4 hours writing the copy, creating the Calendly Act, creating this little ticker. Read our new little ticker along the bottom, kind of help explains a little bit about what we're doing. We also have our logo right here. We're making the letters bigger and we're making them all in white so they pop a little bit better, and making the logo a little bit larger. So we're improving upon that. So like anything else, you just got to start, and then just incrementally improve along the way. So this is still the start roughly of our third week of the facilities maintenance show. In the background, I have already started to invite and book. Our scheduler is reaching out to superintendents, arborists, maintenance professionals, even some vendors we have coming on. We've got a really cool company called Graze Robotics out of Plano, Texas, and their stuff probably won't be ready for sale for, well, they're going to tell us, but maybe even a couple of years. But I'd say they're on the cutting edge of robotics. And I'm talking heavy, big machinery that it's a push system. So you can push a 4 foot wide deck mower, you can push a sprayer, a spreader, all kinds of things, and it'll be fully autonomous, much like you see these Teslas driving around. This is what's coming to lawn care and lawn maintenance, that kind of stuff. So one of their engineers that was formerly in the aerospace industry, Adam, is coming onto the show to tell us all about that, so we can kind of understand and see that they don't have anything for sale right now unless you're an investor. Probably be a pretty cool company to invest in. Maybe that's something that'll interest y'all. I might have him talk about that. I don't even know if he can talk about it, but this is one of our American companies right here in Texas, right here in Plano, right outside of Dallas. That's pioneering a lot of this robotics technology coming into our maintenance industry, facilities maintenance industry, and that's going to massively affect parks and recreation because so much of our effort goes into cutting grass and for hours, and many machines that are constantly breaking and all this kind of stuff. So this is going to revolutionize this. This is as big as the tractor coming into the farming industry when they had mules and plows and stuff. So it's going to be really important to kind of stay ahead of that. I want to make sure that this industry, how about this? Let's take the parks and rec industry out of we're the slowest to adopt things to no, we're on the cutting edge of adoption. Let's lead the charge in this industry. Why? Because we have more grass to cut than probably every other industry in America. The parks and rec industry, this is a good stat. I wonder if there's anyone in America that cuts more grass than Parks and Rec. And so if there ever was something that Parks and Rec needs to be the leader, the early adopter, the front runner on technology, it's probably the robotic lawnmower, uh, because we're always looking to save um, time and money and resources so that we can do all the other backlog of stuff that the cities put on us. Um, so this is something maybe I can help with this. We can just make sure that that's a regular part of our show, that we let you know what's the best, latest, and greatest technology as it comes out, the vendors you can use, and you can just start by experimenting. And a lot of you have already experimented with the field stripers, and many are using it, but many still aren't. So that there's over 12,000 agencies in America that would call themselves a Parks and Rec department that have fields to maintain, fields to stripe, facilities to maintain. Anyway, that's what this whole show is about. Um, so we did shift our time, as I said before. This is now a 10:30 a.m. Eastern show, all about maintenance, Monday through Thursday. So we're moving it from 10:45 to 10:30. Today, I finally finished out all the stuff to invite people and schedule people and book people. There's a lot of back end stuff that needs to go on. So, all of my Parks and Rec facilities maintenance professionals that I've been talking to over the last month are now going to start getting invites to schedule and book. Um, Thank you for giving us the 3 weeks to continue to build all the back infrastructure, me to settle into this 9:30 at my time, 10:30 Eastern time slot. We've also got a few early adopters like Joseph, like Ryan, like ah, hold on, cannot forget this guy's name, Garrett. It's like Garrett was the first one. So Garrett, Ryan, Joseph, I will be leaning on y'all heavily for this next week or two, as I continue to just develop this show and get more and more speakers on. They're also helping me reach out to a ton of people. And there's a few others, please forgive me if I'm forgetting, that are also helping on the back end. Kind of what we do. And so here's something for you guys. So typically with this type of show, I create a LinkedIn channel, a group chat, and all the names I just mentioned are in it. And so if you would like to participate in helping us organize this show, and what does that mean? Maybe you have a vendor you've been working with forever that just really has been working with the Parks and Rec community for decades in their company, and it's like a nationwide thing, or something that you feel like you can help us get in touch with those people. If you know a lot of maintenance professionals because you've been in the industry for a long time and you know a lot of the superintendents, and maybe you can help us just get in touch with those people and bring them onto the show or recommend that. So, or if you would just like to help get the word out for this channel, then reach out to me on LinkedIn. We'll add you to that group. And, if we have 10 or 20 of us working to network um, and build this channel for the maintenance professionals, we'd love to have your help. We need your help. It's even though there are what six of us, if I lose count, working on this full time. This is really driven a lot by volunteer hours, just like Gabby and Molly are doing, helping me, and Chad and Maxim and everybody else that's helping on the YPN Friday show. It's just us seeing a need for a certain segment of Parks and Rec, and we're just stepping in and making it happen. So without you guys' help, this would be much smaller and it wouldn't reach as many people, and it just wouldn't be as good of a show. So appreciate all the people and volunteers that are helping. I haven't even counted them yet. There's easily 50 or 60 people that are helping across all 5 shows that are, part of the Daily Parks and Rec show. We actually did formally made an LLC for it. So it's DPRS Media Co. LLC. Shocker what that acronym means, Daily Parks and Rec Show, DPRS Media Co. And so all the shows now fall up under that parent organization. You could say all these shows are in the Daily Parks and Rec Show family. So that's kind of how I'll be announcing it. And so I think tomorrow I have somebody for this show coming on. It might be one of the arborists. I know we've got next week, we've got starting to fill up the week between Joseph and Garrett, Ryan, a couple of arborists. I've got Adam coming on for the robotics. We're really starting to fill up this show. So we have guest speakers, either vendors serving the industry, maintenance professionals, been in it for a long time, master craftsmen that have kind of honed their craft for decades are going to come share all the wisdom in maintenance and maintaining these parks and facilities that we maintain for Parks and Rec. Okay, so let me go ahead and press this one little commercial. You're not going to see it for very long because we're getting ready to replace this with a version 2. But here's our little commercial for facilities maintenance. I'll go ahead and run through the YPN one because I'm constantly trying to promote that, and then we'll come back and close out the show and get ready for our leadership series. Here we go. Welcome to the Daily Parks and Rec Show, where we highlight the essential work that keeps our parks and facilities thriving. From local ball fields to multi-use athletic complexes, field maintenance ensures every space is safe, ready, and welcoming for play and community events. Facility maintenance is the backbone of operational excellence, ensuring that recreation centers, playgrounds, and shared spaces are functional, clean, and built to last. Behind the scenes, equipment maintenance keeps vital tools and machinery in peak condition. At the core of future-forward thinking is sustainability management, integrating green practices that reduce environmental impact and enhance long-term resource stewardship. Facilities maintenance is more than routine upkeep. It's strategic, essential, and foundational to building healthy and resilient communities. This is the Daily Parks and Rec Show, honoring the professionals who keep our spaces running and our communities strong. All right, so that's our commercial for the Facilities Maintenance Show. We are in the process of launching the version 2s, thanks to all our videographers, our video editors, content creators that are working tirelessly at least 50 hours a week. I know with me, it's nonstop, and I'm constantly giving them tasks from logos and promos. And then we've got a nice stable of sponsors coming onto the show. I think we're up to like 6 official show sponsors that are coming in. So appreciate that. Please send them as much money as you can so that they can continue to help sponsor this show. And of course, we're vetting them and making sure that they're good fits for the industry and, are not any kind of shysters coming in here. Typically, we look for people that have been serving this industry for decades, have really made their products and services around this industry that the industry needs. And so it's kind of like a win-win for them. They're able to sponsor this show and, get their name out to all of our audience in Parks and Recreation. Okay, so YPN. Now I'm going to start. This is the part of the show where I tell you about all the other stuff that's going on with the Daily Parks and Rec Show. As I said before, we've officially formed a media company. This is a media organization, DPRS Media Co., part of the Daily Parks and Rec Show family. We have 5 shows now. This is our morning show about facilities maintenance, Monday through Thursday, now at 10:30 Eastern. Followed by our leadership series. This was our flagship show that started it all, where we highlight the careers of our leaders in parks and recreation and the facilities they maintain, and they share their stories, their whys, and everything that they have learned. And a lot of these people, one of the questions I ask is there anything that you are super passionate about, kind of have learned a lot around that you could share with the Parks and Rec community? And so typically when you're passionate about something, even if it's like a hobby like fishing, when your heart's involved, you go off the deep end and you learn everything about it. And so your career in Parks and Rec really is no different. There's so many things a director could choose to focus on. I know they have to do so much. They kind of have to be a jack of all trades, but a lot of times they find themselves with a high degree of mastery in one specific part of Parks and Rec, whether it's cost recovery, grant writing, special events, therapeutic recreation, youth sports. Of course, now they have to do it all, whether they're good at it or not. But we do have our masters in that we've heard speak, and so we just want to give them a platform to share that wisdom with the greater audience, and then capture that in digital format, make it part of our content YouTube library, and then give access to everyone to share in their story and their wisdom. So that is the leadership series, 12 noon Eastern, Monday through Thursday. Again, the show that started it all. Our second show actually that started was the Young Professionals Network. Shout out to Chad, Molly, and Gabby that helped kick it off. And then we've got a whole other group of helpers in the Young Professionals Network that are helping to build out this Friday show. This is a kind of a panel show where you will have not just me and someone else or just me. Sometimes we'll actually have 2, 3, 4 people on stage. These are young professionals, number one, that are either in school, in college to pursue a degree in Parks and Recreation, or they have recently graduated and now working full time in Parks and Recreation within the first 1 to 5 years. This is a place for you guys to kind of, introduce yourself to the community. Tell us how you're doing so far, what you've learned, what it's like to just enter this industry, and now you've got your own stage, right? So if you're an intern, please reach out to us. If you have an intern, if you're a director, superintendent, whatever, and you've got an intern working in your after school care, working in the office, whatever, for a semester, please help us connect with them and get them on the show. I know there are tens of thousands of interns working jobs. And so what you could just come on the show with them, tell us about your internship program, and then you can have your intern with you, and we can have just a light, easy conversation going back and forth about what it's like to enter this industry. So there's a lot of YPN effort going out there. Of course, it's not just us. This was started by one of the founders of Reckless Podcast, I believe, started this many years ago. I need to get him on this show. We've talked just to tell that story. And then now many states have started some YPN, Young Professionals Network, part of their association and their efforts in all these state organizations. So they're all at different levels. Obviously, probably Illinois and California and Texas and what are the other big ones? Florida probably are on their first, second, third, fourth, fifth year of some type of YPN effort. So be looking out for that. Volunteer for those. If you would like to get involved with YPN, of course, we've got our Friday shows. So 52 times a year, YPN is coming out of this channel. Okay. Every Friday, 12 noon. What you're going to see is YPN efforts being developed and growing in every state organization. That's 50 states there. And then, of course, NRPA is kind of the flagship YPN that's been, I think, kicked it off and doing a lot of the effort. So hats off to, per usual, NRPA leading the charge on most of these efforts. Now we are just trying to be the digital version of, having some kind of effort for the Young Professionals Network. That's going to be our Friday show. Now we will do an in-person. I think it's shaping up to be a camp out. I still gotta float this by Sevi and a lot of my other helpers and stuff. But one of the things with the Young Professionals that we wanted to make sure that we made it affordable. I know a lot of times why people can't go to their state organization and they miss out on the great annual convention that NRPA puts on. It's just because they can't afford it. With the entry fee and the plane ticket and the hotel room and the travel expenses that go along with all that stuff, it could be like $1,000. And so if the city's not sponsoring the young professionals, typically the cities are only going to sponsor like the director, assistant director, superintendent, couple of maybe the head therapeutic recreation person. So maybe you're bringing 2 to 5. Some of the big cities might send 10, but those are big cities, So it's a small group that really gets to attend these state conventions just because it's kind of cost prohibitive. And the poorest among us in Parks and Rec are the recent college grads that have, this college debt, their entry level job pay. And so we knew that if we were going to make something for YPN, it needs to be practically free. So a few sponsors that I'm close to will probably just provide a lot of the food and other stuff. And we're going to get some, the idea is to get some sort of campground that might have cabins that's, that we can get donated by some state park. And I've already got several state parks that are kind of jockeying for that position to give back to the young professionals. But please, if you know of a good campground that could house, I think we're just going to keep it small. We're going to keep it to like 50 young professionals nationwide for one event. So it's not going to be some massive, 500, 5,000, not yet, at least. We're going to keep it small just to launch it. So if you're a young professional that is interested, would like to attend, or you're a vendor who would like to just support 50 young professionals, some of the best and brightest across America in this industry of parks and recreation, where now's the time we're putting it all together. It's going to be year one, to just have a little, and maybe it ends up being some big camp out every year because we always want to keep it affordable for them. So we're trying to get away from, at least my mind is to try to get away from some of the expenses like the hotel, a lot of the travel expenses, a lot of the, and then we want to do this for almost maybe 50 or $100, I think would be the cost, just maybe a gate fee or something to give to our host park or something like that. Anyway, that's the thoughts around that. That's all YPN. That's our Friday show, 12 noon Eastern, kind of panel style. Okay, so 3 other shows. The other 3 shows is Financial Friday. That's coming at that 10:30 time slot. And it's just where we talk about, shout out to Jamie Sabak. She was the one that kind of, well, and there was a couple other guys that had an accounting background. And so they just look and frame Parks and Rec differently. They look at it with accounting mind. They look at it with financial sustainability. These are people that have a strong financial understanding in general. And so, what we're noticing, and really, this is not just a Parks and Rec problem. Every entrepreneur, every business struggles with the numbers. A lot of times we get so wrapped up in the product or the service or the sales or the delivery that we forget to be the bean counter and make sure that cost recovery is as strong as it can be without, making it unaffordable for our community, making sure that we have sustainable park systems that aren't crippled by a deferred maintenance wall that's coming our way, or wave rather, that's coming our way. Let's maybe dig into what are the red flags that cause bankruptcy. We have many cities that have literally had to declare bankruptcy, many departments that have had to declare bankruptcy. And so what are some of the red flags that you might be dabbling in, not realizing that, there's something crushing coming your way. There's this wall of debt. There's this wall of, um, deferred maintenance that just keeps getting kicked down the road that eventually will come knocking on the door. And what are some things we can do about that? And then also highlighting who are the all-stars of cost recovery? Who are the all-stars of grant writing? Who are the all-stars of sustainable parks and rec systems that have a healthy, strong financial future that aren't solely and, bolted to this tax revenue that sometimes we just cannot depend on. When tax revenue is good, great, it's good, awesome. But what about when it's not? Do you have to stop offering services that are vital to your community? Do the elderly no longer have a community center that's functional and operational because tax revenue just can't support it? Do you have no longer the ability to offer, after school care programs because you can't pay your staff? And so this is something we need to take seriously. This is something, knowing your numbers, being a strong, like, people are depending on you to run a solid financial system. And if not, little kids, old people, the most, vulnerable people are going to pay the price. Okay. It's not going to be, your, wealthier tennis rackets, golf swinging people. They're going to find a private version of what you offer. But, and of course, hopefully we all have access to the parks and, a lot of the poorer people, single moms, depend on you having an after-school care program, of you having something for your elderly community, your aging community, because you're all they have. So, got to make sure that you're on the strongest financial footing that you can be. And of the 12,000 cities, we have some rock stars that we can highlight their best practices, and we will on Friday, 10:30 starting. give me a couple more weeks. Why? Because we're launching another show next Thursday, and this is our newest show, and it comes with a host aside from me. Aaron Locks, thank you so much for finding me on LinkedIn. We connected. He has a great little organization that works with youth sports. And I'm not talking about the youth sports where you have these like elite, going future D1 athletes that are just natural, athletically gifted people. I'm talking about the non-athletic people, the other 99% of us that are just playing little league basketball, little league baseball, community, coaches pitch, this kind of easy stuff where we're still learning the life lessons that we're going to carry with us forever from our coach, from team play, from learning to push ourselves in these athletic environments. We never were going to probably even make the high school varsity team. Um, you know, most likely not going to make shocker, most college kids are not college athletes. Most of the kids you see walking around that are going to be your future engineers and teachers and what have you, are not college athletes. It's a very small cross section of college students that have athletic scholarships, but a lot of the lessons are learned, while running cross country, while pushing yourself in track and field, while pushing yourself in soccer on the little soccer field when you're in 5th grade. These coaching moments are happening at your park system. And these are lessons that these children need to be taught. And some of the shout out to all the coaches that are volunteering and all the moms and dads that are volunteering and coaching and teaching these little kids how to play on a team, how to pass the ball, how to deal with your little scraped knee and get back in there, pick yourself back up. Like, this is what makes quality humans. And so if it weren't for these Parks and Rec facilities that give the that put on these programs and give a place for parents and kids and volunteer coaches to come do all this, then they would just go untaught. And so this is what's at the heart of the Youth Sports Mastery show that's going to be on Thursdays at the time is 1:30. I just me and Aaron just picked the time. So it's at 1:30 every Thursday. We're going to have some of the best coaches across America that we're going to find to come onto the show and tell us about their strategies and their techniques and why they coach, how they coach, what are the fundamentals of coaching young youth sports. We've also got some people that are into, refereeing and what's that all about as these officials. We've also got people that run really solid rec programs for their communities. And we just wanted a show dedicated to just youth sports. And we call it Youth Sports Mastery because there really is what we're finding better and better ways and methods. Like anything else, you've got people that are, have dedicated a big chunk of their life to mastering everything that I'm saying here. And we want to make sure that we amplify their message, their how-tos every Thursday. So anyway, that's what we have for that. That's our 5 shows. So we have our facilities maintenance show Monday through Thursday, 10:30 a.m., all about maintaining facilities. We've got our leadership series, flagship show that started the whole thing off, also Monday through Thursday, 12 noon Eastern. We've got our YPN show on Fridays, 12 noon Eastern, for all the interns, the professors that teach, the mentors that lift these young professionals up, and the young professionals themselves. That's your Friday show. Financial Friday show, haven't launched yet. We're still working on the other stuff, but it's coming. All about cost recovery, running a financially sustainable park, and then launching this Thursday with my co-host, Aaron Locks, is our Youth Sports Mastery show, Thursdays, 1:30, as we build out this media network for Parks and Recreation. I'm Craig LeBlanc, your host of the Daily Parks and Rec Show, co-host to Youth Sports mastery and host of a lot of these other things that are going on as we build out this team. Thank you to everyone that's been contributing to this on the volunteer side. Of course, the staff that works for DPRS Media Co., the Daily Parks and Rec Show Media Company. They are working tirelessly nonstop to build out this system. Could not do without it. There's not just Craig LeBlanc working on this. I promise you, I am maybe a fifth or a sixth of the man hours going into this weekly. And I put in 50 or 60 man hours every single week for this. So I have nothing else to do. Well, aside from my Bitcoin show, I do at night. So if you haven't gotten to Bitcoin, you need to buy it. Tune into my 9 p.m. show and I'll beat you over the head with everything I've learned over the last 7 years about that. But all right, so we've got another hour before we get Tanya Bird up from Pensacola, Florida. Y'all are going to love this lady here. She has got a great park system. Tune in an hour for the Daily Parks and Rec Show Leadership Series starting at 12 noon Eastern. Thank you guys for all your love and attention. I will see y'all here in about 50 minutes. Thanks. Bye. The future of parks and recreation is here, and it starts with you. Welcome back to the Daily Parks and Recreation Show, where we bring you the latest insights, trends, and conversations shaping the world of parks and recreation. Today, we're diving into something that's shaping the future of our industry, Young Professional Networks, or YPN. If you love your job and love the parks and recreation community and are looking to connect with the next generation of leaders, this episode is for you. YPN is where driven, passionate professionals come together to connect, grow, and make a real impact. It's not just about networking, it's about building the future of our communities. Why join YPN? Career growth and mentorship. Learn from the best in the industry. Innovative ideas and collaboration. Be part of the next big movement. Leadership development. Take charge, make decisions, and create change. Whether you're just starting out or looking to take your career to the next level, YPN is your gateway to success. From exclusive networking opportunities to cutting-edge industry insights, this is where you build your legacy. Because the future of parks and recreation starts with you.